create some water lines on our paper. We're going to use a crayon. I'm showing you with a black crayon, but we're actually going to use a white crayon. I just wanted you to see my wavy lines. So I'm showing you with a black crayon, but then I'm going to flip it over and do mine with a white crayon as well. And this will show up later after we do our marker print. When you're finished with that, I'm going to set that paper aside, and I'm going to be using foil for my marker printmaking, or you could use the plastic bag method that we've done before as well. I'm going to use foil because then I'm actually going to reuse my foil for the mermaid's tail. You want to make sure your foil is the same size as your white paper, and I'm going to be using a variety of blues and purples for my ocean color. So I'm just going to be adding some wavy lines with my markers. I'm going to set my foil aside for a moment and get my white paper back, and I'm going to wipe my paper with a damp sponge, or remember you could spray the foil with a spray bottle, and then I'm going to press that damp side of the paper to my foil and go ahead and rub the back of my paper all over. When you're done rubbing, you're going to pull your print up slowly, and you'll see kind of where we did those white crayon lines, those are still showing up because the wax is resisting the water colors. I'm going to wipe my foil off because I'm going to reuse it for my mermaid's tail, and I'm going to let my marker print dry. I'm going to make a tracer mermaid tail. That will be easier than trying to draw on the foil. So I'm starting at the top, and I'm going to make a curved line that comes out and it goes down, and it's not going quite to the bottom of my paper. I'm going to leave some room for the fins, and I'm going to leave some space. I'm going to follow that same line back up to close that off. To make the tail fins for when that line ends, I curve a line down. It kind of makes a point, like almost like a leaf, and it curves up, makes another point there, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'll also have this tracer on Google Classroom if you want to just print it out, and you could cut it out and use that, or you can make your own. So now we need to either cut the mermaid tail tracer out that you made or cut out the one that you printed from Google Classroom. You want to find a piece of thin cardboard that is the size of your tail or bigger. I like using a little bit thinner cardboard like cereal boxes because it's easier to cut. You can use a thicker cardboard. It might just be a little harder to cut through it. I'm using that same foil. I just cleaned it off, and I'm going to rub my cardboard with a glue stick, and then I'm going to put my foil on top, and I'll even wrap it around the back of the cardboard as well. Once your foil's on, you want to get that tracer that you made or printed out, and you're going to put it onto the foil wrapped cardboard, and you're going to trace that. You want to use a Sharpie, because remember, if you use a washable marker, those can wipe right off. So we want to use a Sharpie. You don't want to use a pencil because it will probably poke through. So make sure you hold the tracer with one hand while you trace it with the other. For coloring our mermaid's tail, you're going to need colored Sharpies for this. It's up to you what colors you want to use. You could leave some of the foil showing. You could cover all of the foil. That's up to you. I want to use a variety of colors, and I want them to kind of look like they're fading. If I just color like this, they don't really look like they're fading. You see that big contrast line. So what I'm going to do is go back with my yellow Sharpie, and right where those lines are touching, I'm going to kind of overlap because they're going to kind of mix together. It'll help me blend the orange and yellow together. What you want to make sure you do, though, is that you will get some kind of orange on the other Sharpie. So I like to keep a scrap piece of paper. And when I'm done, I just kind of wipe my Sharpie off on the white paper until I get all of the other color off and it's back to its original color. And I'm just going to keep repeating that method with the colors I'm using. So when I go back with this color, I'll use the color I had just used before. So I'm coloring with red, I'll go back with the orange to then blend those colors together. When I'm done with my coloring, I'm going to go back with a black Sharpie and I'm just going to kind of go back over my lines. I'm going to re-outline it so I can see a little bit better. And I'm also going to use this Sharpie to add some more detail, the scales, and some lines to my mermaid's tail. For the scales, I'm going to start at the top, and it looks like I'm going to do a bunch of letter U's that are touching each other. And I'll start on one side, and I'll go to the other, and then I'm just going to keep repeating that till I get to, probably for me, where my purple colors are. For the fins, I'm just going to do some slightly curved lines. I'm kind of following the curve of the outside fin, and I'll just add some of those on both sides. Since I still have a good amount of foil left, I decided I'm going to add some fish as well. If you want to do a different type of sea creature, you can, or you could just have the mermaid's tail and nothing else. But I'm going to add some fish with my colored Sharpies. Once you're done, you're going to cut everything out, and you want to make sure you take your time. If you notice some of your foil is coming off the cardboard, you can go back and add a little bit more glue. Once everything is cut out, you're just going to glue it to your marker print as long as it's dry.